Action Jack McClendon and Burgermeister behind the camera. We're in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're at the home of Frank Lloyd Wright. This is Taliesin West. And this is in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. And this is off Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, right off the freeway. You'll see that, and that's a good clue to come here.
And there's a clue to park, because that's the parking lot. And this is a built into the nature house, as you can see. That was just a picture from the driveway.
The Taliesin is a Welsh term, and it means radiant brow. So he liked to have the home right in the brow of the mounds or the little hills.
Mounds.
There. Yeah, actually, what it is.
Mounds bar?
That's what they call them. Those are the mounds. They're not
His mother
mountains.
was Welsh, and he liked the Welsh name. And he liked to build into the ground and the top of hills and things like that.
Listen to that water. Isn't that nice? So beautiful.
And so this room, the first one you come into, this was his studio. And there's a picture on there, on the wall there, back against the table. That's a picture. He wanted to build the state capitol. And there's his typewriter. This is a lovely little studio he had, isn't it?
Yes, and the state capital of Arizona is right next to Scottsdale. That's Phoenix. And so that spire is...
you know all the big words.
It's about 4 stories high. It's there in downtown.
167 feet, because we just looked it up.
Yes.
How tall is this thing?
And it's right by the Phoenix Capitol.
So, yes. So here we are in the big, large patio. This guy liked a nice big patio, didn't he? This thing was huge, out in the open in the desert. And he started to build this in 1938 when he moved out in 37, and then he started building this in 38. And he always tinkered on it. Never really was finished. I mean, he lived until 1959, so he made it to 90, and he loved it here. He died out here.
So it started from 35 all the way to 69. And you notice most of this is subterranean, and he did that to make it so it'd be very nice in the wintertime and the springtime.
Well, it didn't work too good because his widow, she put an air conditioner in. She said, it gets too hot in here.
But she stayed year-round.
She stayed after he passed away. That's because she didn't want to leave after he passed. She wanted to stay there.
So it can get 125 degrees here, or even
hot
warmer.
In Arizona.
And it's only going to be like 3 or 4 degrees cooler than outside.
You know how people in Arizona make it through the summer, don't you?
They come right here to San Diego.
That's right.
And we had in the 80s when we left to go to Arizona, so it wasn't like we were having a big difference for us.
The weather's perfect in February.
Yes.
So we got to see this because Jack had to go on a business trip, and as long as we were there, we got to... This is our second time there. Last time we didn't go through the house. This time we went into the house, which is good.
I took a few days off to visit and see the many neat things in this area.
Yes. And so anyway, what were we talking about, this house?
This is how gorgeous it blends in with nature.
Yeah. I know, we're not exactly an architectural detailed...
Well, a person knows what they like.
That is something I don't like. And he has them all over the place.
He liked the Asian influence, the Japanese and Chinese.
They actually look like monsters, scary monsters to be, but...
And he had some of the artwork, he had them different.
He loved Asian art.
He loved it, but some of them were different than it was originally intended, such as he would have to ward off spirits, but he had them facing the wrong direction, as if to bring...
the detail.
There's Burgermeister right there, and there I am. And because we did our research before, we weren't with a group, and we can go at our own pace. We often find that if you just listen to the tour guides, no offense to tour guides, but they can have...
too slow and too long.
Right, too many questions, and we're going to do our research before. We maximize our time.
Yeah, so this is actually they call it a garden room for a reason. It's nice and airy, and the windows open up, and you feel like you're out in the garden. And it was surprisingly comfortable in there. You'd think it wouldn't be, but it was.
Oh, it was fantastic. These seats also were very comfortable. I don't know if this is the greatest way to have company when you're sitting like that.
To entertain, and it worked. He had a lot of people over there. And he had that piano because he liked to play the piano. He was musical on top of that. The man was a genius.
He was a true artist in many, many ways. A great physical artist where he could draw things.
There's a gorgeous artist standing right there. I like him.
Bergie's using the camera here. Bergie's directing me. Please sit down, Bergie said.
Have a good time, Jack. Relax. Take a load off your feet.
And it's
he did.
Very comfortable.
Yeah.
So they have fireplaces all over the place because although the weather is perfect in the wintertime, it can be chilly at nighttime.
Yes.
Chilly for...
Hot today, chili tamale. Isn't that the Mexican weather report?
Yes. And it's our nights in the wintertime, not that cold anyway, but it's nice to have a little fireplace.
It gets cold because we turn that air conditioner on.
Yes, that's true. I had an aunt that told me, it's a long story, we won't go there. She told me it was cold in Fresno in the summertime. You said, in Fresno in the summertime it's cold? She said, yeah, because I sleep under an air conditioner.
Yeah, and she wasn't kidding. That's the funny part. She was serious. Cute little lady. Anyway, so this beautiful room is very airy, hence he called it the garden room. It's also the living room. And we're going to move on in after we get out of this room.
So he loved natural light.
Hey,
there's a nice bust of him, which looked like the 90-year-old. And there he is at Taliesin West, shortly before he died. This is a beautiful room in here, again with the Asian art that is painted on the walls here. It's really quite beautiful. I don't remember what room this was, but it was like, this is the bathroom coming up here. And I took it because I like this picture because it looks like the Guggenheim, the way it is.
It looks like a
all steel
public bathroom.
Yeah, so thanks. I can see that.
Excuse the coffee. This is considered a dining room, number 5.
Number 10.
Oh, 10. I read real good. That fireplace looks like you can cook an ox in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so again...
It's a huge fireplace, and obviously they used it because it's got all the burn everywhere. It's not just aesthetic.
Beautiful starry nights there, too. It used to be more starry than it is now, but...
I wanted to do the whole picture, but some guy was standing in front of it and wouldn't move, so I got 3/4 of it.
So there's water features all over this beautiful mansion, and you can actually wade in there. But you can't really swim.
If you do, they come after you, so yeah, good thing none of us did.
Right, but I mean, they built it so they could wade.
They could wade.
Right, but not really swimming. In fact, you couldn't swim there at all.
I was looking at that. What do you mean?
You could just
swim. That's why they call it a wading pool.
You can only splash around in here.
Yeah.
And the front pool, I think...
missing a couple of koi.
The front pool's like 2 feet deep. There's those interesting windows there. I'm not a fan of those windows there.
No. No. Talk about handsome. I keep finding that gorgeous man everywhere I look. Not that woman, the guy with the hat. This was I forgot the name of this room. I had the picture out in front. Kivi or Kidi. It's an Indian name. Had to do with being a meeting room.
You're right. It was Kiva.
Kiva, okay.
Yes.
And he'd have meetings there, and they'd watch movies in there, and they'd just socialize in there. And had all those pictures of the surrounding area and all of his architecture and stuff in there. It was an interesting little room.
Yes.
And they had lots of orange trees out there, too.
Which he wanted to plant, and they did plant these, so some of these have been around for some time.
Too.
Right.
I don't know if the fruit was right, but it was full of fruit. This is a dining room for events and for students and such. It was closed to us, but we were allowed to peek through the windows, and it's a huge room.
Yep, another piano there that he would play.
Yeah, they had pianos everywhere. It's surprising. I didn't know he was really into piano playing, but evidently, since I think there must have been 4 that we saw.
He was such a brilliant man, and people like Gary Cooper really admired him, and so did Ayn Rand, the objectivist. She thought he was the perfect man, as she thought the same thing with Gary Cooper. And John Wayne was a regular guest here, too, as well. And Carl Sandburg, also the great American historian, writer, and poet. They were very good friends, so he would be here, too.
Yeah, couldn't remember his name.
There's that beautiful Asian art. Birgit and I have a difference of opinion on this.
Yes.
But I think it fits in very well to the motif.
There's another doorway ending into the bedrooms and the kitchen and all that. This place was quite large. It's amazing. It takes a while to go through all of it, but it's magnificent architecture, and it's in great condition because they're taking care of it so well.
Yeah, and those are beautiful oranges and lemon groves here. That's enough to feed a lot of people.
Makes a lot of lemonade, and if life gives you lemons,
You make lemonade out of it, and a lot of oranges too.
yes, it works for me.
And the beautiful bougainvillea. So this is really a nice place to winter, especially for snowbirds. And snowbirds is a term that has to do with people from cold parts of the world coming here to the West Coast to warm
To
up.
the south also.
Yeah, to the Southwest. So they come from all over the United States and from all over Canada, and they really help the economy. So bless all of our snowbird friends for coming out here.
So this is the drafting room where he taught, or people learned, because that was what he taught, architecture, drafter, and his son was one of his students. His son was a great architect.
Fantastic. He has beautiful buildings in Southern California.
Yeah, he did the Wayfarers Chapel in Palo Verde, and they had to take that apart because Palos Verde is slowly falling into the ocean. And
That particular part of it.
Yes, and so they had to move it, and hopefully they'll reconstruct it somewhere else soon because it's an absolutely magnificent chapel.
There's original designs from Frank Lloyd Wright of the Guggenheim Museum in Manhattan, New York.
And yes.
Really beautiful.
And
I like that.
That shopping center in Beverly Hills here,
Yeah,
which I
Anderton
think anybody
Court.
goes up there, they've seen that place.
And there's
And
his
so-
original drawings of it.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that they'd have those there. So, and then we got out of there and we're back out above ground where we started. We're like gophers, we come up for air.
Well, he does that because he wants a nice marriage of the property.
Mr. Cacti.
So it feels like it's just part of
That-
part of nature. And that's he says what he worshiped was nature with a capital N. He says he was a believer, but God was nature to him. It's brilliant. There's a really good 1-hour interview that you can find on YouTube by Mike Wallace. That's fantastic, and learn all about him. That was shortly before he died. So this is in the cabaret room, which Briggy really liked.
Yeah, well, who doesn't? It's a beautiful room. I like the hallway. It looked like it took a running start to this. Look at this. I backed up, and now we're going.
Yeah, the hallway is absolutely,
It was totally great.
it's
Look at
beautiful, isn't it?
This. He came up with all these interesting ways of making a room light without having to turn on a light. I mean, this was really amazing. So you walk down this hallway, make a U-turn, and they have seats all there. And it was for movies. It was for entertainment. He has a piano in there, movie screen, and all that good stuff. And then they did song and dance, and see all the people sitting there. It was a cute little room, and he liked it in there. And that was where they did entertaining.
Right, and for lectures too for his students. And they show movies here
Yeah.
As well. But the main movie
And when
room,
you go up and out.
yeah,
And then there's a movie room, yes.
yes, and that's where Hollywood celebrities would be there, like Gary
Right.
Cooper, John Wayne. Ayn Rand was a big fan of his. That's a beautiful theater.
Nothing wrong with this, Jack.
Again, with all the natural lighting, because majority of this is subterranean, but he uses the lights really, really well.
And so since we're in the subterranean, now we came up for air again. We're outside. And
Yes.
look at Jack. He left the building, just like Elvis.
So it's quite a beautiful place here. So we've been to all of Taliesin, Wisconsin, Taliesin West. We've seen most of his homes. And in Chicago, we went to a studio there. That's on a upcoming video because we were there in June, and I never posted that video.
We have lots of videos.
Yeah, well, we've been all.
The blue sky and the cactus, this is so gorgeous, the natural beauty. Because it was yucky when it kind of started, and then the sun came out more, now a blue sky.
This is the spire. They're right next to the Capitol in Phoenix. And this is how tall?
167 or 168 feet.
Right. And it's blended with the Seguro cactus there. It's quite beautiful. So on behalf of Burgermeister, this is Action Jack saying we'll be back. It'll be soon. And that's the name of that tune. Hit like if you liked it and subscribe.